Today we're going to be debunking a Liza Donnelly cartoon, and before we even get into this, who is Liza Donnelly?
So Liza Donnelly is an American cartoonist and a writer. She mostly reflects on global issues in today's world. Also, they're mostly on feminism and how it's hard to be a woman these days.
You can find a lot of her comics on The New Yorker, segments of her on CBS, and a great TED Talk video of her explaining her journey in cartoons and how she created her point of view. We're just going to start off with the basics, what we see in the comic, right? It's an office setting, all right? There's 5 men here and 1 man by the door. They're all look pretty confused, not gonna lie. And then we see graphs here, so this is kind of like a business office setting. And you can clearly tell that this man right here is dressing like a woman.
Yeah, so basically here, the quote is, "I asked Harold to provide the feminist viewpoint," so it's obviously someone from them telling, another one.
Yeah. To
One
the assumed Harold.
Exactly. And here we have Harold, who's dressed as a woman, because they want to show how, they're feminists in some sort of way.
Yeah.
And that they support women, so...
It's likely that the company is trying to show that they support women and they have diversity in their viewpoint. And instead of actually having a woman give her viewpoint, they just dressed a man up as a woman and called it a day.
And you can see from his face that he does not look pleased. He does not look comfortable. It's like they forced him to do this.
So real quick, we know that this is a business setting, right? We can tell by the graphs up on the wall and how this room is set up. We can also see that there's no border, but Donnelly did draw this wall in here and the doorway. For the caption, you do see the keywords are Harold Feminist Viewpoint. Then if you want to take a closer look at Harold here, he's wearing high heels, skirt, suit, earrings, and to me, it looks like his hair is done because you see curly hair, and then this dude has curly hair, but his looks a lot messier than Harold, so I'm pretty sure they did his hair for this. The heels, the skirt, and the earrings all add to the stereotype of women being dolled up and dressing up and always wearing skirts and heels, even though not all women wear these things. That's the basic run through of what we went over on the board. In the first box, you just put exactly what you see straight in blank, which is when all the annotating and circling comes in handy. In the object box, you choose pieces of the comic that was symbolic, for example, the graphs on the wall, the high heels, the earrings, the skirt, and then you briefly explain what was the symbolism behind these items. In the debatable issue box, you talk about the topic that the comic is mentioning or a controversial topic that the comic is expressing. In the artist technique box, this is where you can break out most of the unit vocabulary, like artistic style, caricature, cartoonification, etc. Here is where you talk about the actual drawings, if they're minimalistic, realistic, if they're exaggerated or simple. You also comment on the specific artist style. In this box, you discuss if the comic uses irony or juxtaposition or analogy and allusion, etc. To express their point. Although similar to the debatable issue, the artist's purpose box is a bit different. Here you talk about the artist's perspective and opinion using the info that you gathered from the comic. Lastly, you write if you agree or disagree with the artist.
If you were to remove the quote from the image, you would think that it's a gay man going into his work because he's dressed as a girl, because nowadays men wearing feminine outfits or products are considered men, and you would say that his coworkers are judging him for dressing this way. But if it was the other way around and you had to remove the image, you would think that Harold is presenting a presentation on feminism, because there could probably be lack of diversity in the workplace, and how there maybe has been complaints on how they want more women to work in this type of work. Overall, the text in the image creates meaning by showing important global issues in today's days.
Okay, so for the context of production in 2018, although many things happened, only two things caught my eye and two things that pertain to the comic. So the first thing is that policies dealing with social norms and abortion globally were changed, and a girl-led organization showed us what a girl-led movement is capable of and identifies what we can do to successfully help them. So for the context of reception, there's a lot that happened between 2018 and 2022, so I'm just going to pick a few highlights that happened throughout the years. In 2019, India assigned their first woman pilot. The US soccer team demanded equal pay. In 2020, Scotland became the first country to allow free and universal access to menstrual products. Also in 2020, the Nobel Prize winners in the chemistry and physics place are both women. In 2021, the first woman of color won an Oscar for directing, and she was the second woman to ever win this Oscar. Also in 2021, Paris announced that about $40 billion were invested in gender equality. I didn't want to end on a bad note, but in this year, 2022, in America, women are still fighting to have rights and to be considered human in the government's eyes. So, yay!